Notice how this says this is a description of a slave ship. Now, the image that we're seeing, they're talking about all of these so-called enslaved Africans being packed inside of a ship. Now, does this ship represent the so-called, well, they weren't even ships, they were boats. Number one, 15, 16, 1700s. You didn't get these types of boats until the 1800s.
Dane Calloway, you are not an historian, okay? You're not an historian, and I'm going to prove it to you that you're not a historian. You keep saying things like,
number one, 15, 16, 1700s. You didn't get these types of boats until the 1800s.
But you have to understand, right? Let's break this down real quick, so these pseudos could stop saying things like, well, those boats wasn't created until the 1800s, or those ships wasn't created until the 1800s. So let's go down, all right? Let's go down. Now, this is Britannica.com, and let's see what they say about the transatlantic slave trade. So it says, probably no more than a few 100,000 slaves were taken to the Americas before the 1600s. In the 17th century, however, demand for enslaved labor rose sharply with the growth of sugar plantations in the Caribbean and tobacco plantations in the Chesapeake region in North America. Now pay attention, Dane Calloway. Pay attention. It says the largest numbers of enslaved people were taken to the Americas during the 18th century. The largest number of enslaved people were taken to the Americas during the 18th century, when according to historians' estimates, nearly 3/5 of the total volume of the transatlantic slave trade took place. So in the 1800s, 3/5 of the slaves were brought to the Americas. So why do you keep saying
15, 16, 1700s? You didn't get these types of boats until the 1800s.
Well, how did they do it? They didn't have those ships in the 1800s. Well, most of the transatlantic slave trade took place in the 1800s. 3/5 of the total volume of slaves took place in the 1800s. So you just got debunked. You're not a historian. You're a fake scholar who puts spooky music in his background.
Notice how this says this is a description of a slave ship.
That's how I know you're a conspiracy nut job. Well, the ships wasn't made until the 1800s. But that's when most of the transatlantic slave trade took place. 3/5 of the total volume took place in the 18th century.
Before I go any further on that, just imagine that. How is that even feasible? When you're having no room to breathe, no nothing, no get up and pee, no water to drink to keep them alive.
So for all of you pretendians saying that the slave trade was a hoax and it never happened, don't you know that there's laws that was created because of the transatlantic slave trade? If you accept treaties and you accept, oh, the white man said that when he came over here, it was brown people here. Because that's what I just asked you. You accept those laws because you accept the treaties, but you accept those slave trade laws, right, brother?
Hey, bro, whatever's history, that's what they say it is.
Y'all love to quote the white people that say they've seen brown Indians. You love to quote that shit. You love to quote that shit. But when we say, look at these laws, government documents that you could find, everybody want to play stupid. Now it says right here, Sir William Doman and the Cause of Humanity. It was the Slave Trade Regulation Act of 1788. Do you follow me? Of 1788. Let's go down. Let's scroll down. Right? Let's check it out. He said he was alluding to the so-called Middle Passage, during which Negro slaves were transported from the coast of Africa to various West Indian ports. Invariably, an inordinate number of slaves were crammed aboard the ships, allowing each very little room to which to sleep.
When you're having no room to breathe, no nothing, no get up and pee, no water to drink to keep them alive.
The cramped quarters did not conduce to helpful living conditions. During the day, moreover, the slaves were chained hand and foot to each other and to the deck, and were given very little water, and that of poor quality to drink. These egregiously indecent conditions generated fatal diseases, the effects of which in close quarters spread the contagion prodigiously and required the disposal of corpses on almost daily basis. Dobbin therefore urged his colleagues to apply a remedy for these evils soon. If actions were not taken before the end of the present session, he warned as many as 10,000 lives, slaves, and British seamen could be lost. See, you have to understand, you pretendians, people were dying. This is how I know it has to be something mentally wrong. Because you act as if these people didn't die. Millions of people died during the transatlantic slave trade. You say these things as if nobody died, as if every slave, every crewman just came across the water safely. It was so safe. This is how you guys make it. You make it as if it was so safe. They had laws that were created. Share this damn video, man. Y'all not sharing these videos. And that's the problem. Then you wonder why these damn cults spread like wildfire, because those pseudos are sharing those videos. Share the video, like the damn video. Let's get them out of here, man. So, this is the Dobbins Act. Look it up. The Slave Trade Act of 1788. I already debunked that claim. Dane Calloway, you are not an historian. Get out of your echo chamber. And anybody that followed Dane Calloway, you should feel ashamed of yourself for the simple fact, right, that he doesn't have anyone challenge his information. He don't bring anybody on his channel that disagree. There's no friendly dialogues. It's just him, because he want the bag. He wants your money. He wants you to buy his fucked up, plagiarized ass books. He wants you to be a member. He don't care about this. This is a slap in our ancestors' face for you to say these things, man. For the simple fact that they had to endure those diseases. suicide, jumping over ships, just for this big head pretending could throw it all out the window. You guys should be ashamed of yourself, man. You should be ashamed of yourself. All for this money. It's your brother YK The Truth, man. And I'm out. Peace.
But it was also told to us in reverse. This book is made available to order June 30th, 2022.